So, Guilty Gear Strive. We played the beta. Everybody got a chance to feel how it was. If you didn't get a chance to play it, I'm sorry for you. I did give out some beta codes over Twitter. So hopefully if you were any of those people, I did give them out to you. Hopefully you did get a chance to play the beta and you enjoyed it. But we're going to be going over basically how I felt about the beta, how everybody feels basically about it. But I want to give my input just because I want to go really hard with Guilty Gear on this channel, and so I want to cover as much as I can whenever I can about this game. So there's a lot of things I want to go over with the beta, but the first thing we're definitely going to be talking about is how good the game looks. Now when it comes to Arc System games, we all know that they put their most effort in when it comes to designing how the game looks. We've had Grand Blue Fantasy versus Dragon Ball FighterZ, all the older Guilty Gears, and basically whenever they start doing the 3D but 2D style animation, that they have basically mastered it, and Guilty Gear Strive shows that they even mastered it even more. How can you get better than Dragon Ball FighterZ? Especially when they drop Gogeta and DBS Broly? How did you get any better? Well, they did somehow, and Guilty Gear Strive looks amazing. When you guys play this game, it looks great. Everything seems to be laid out pretty nicely, and I think it looks amazing. Now, one thing that I really want to talk about is the lobby system. The lobby system is straight up ass. They need to delete this. Whatever that they had an idea of, whatever they want to reinvent the wheel. No, Guilty Gear does not need this. I'm not even a veteran of Guilty Gear, but I know that anybody that's a part of the Guilty Gear community or just fighting game community knows that this is probably one of the worst lobby systems ever added into the game. Somebody fight me, please. Please. I don't understand why that Arc System or just anime game developers in general, we can't just have a lobby system set up like Mortal Kombat. We just go in, click a button, invite your friends, or just set up a lobby. We don't need all these chibi avatars, but I know they want to do something creative and do something different than what most fighting games do, but we don't need all that. And the reason I say this is because whenever they do this, it never comes out 100% good, and people always have issues about it. And this one is just even worse compared to the other ones they did before. Grand Blue Fantasy's lobby system is way better than this. Dragon Ball FighterZ lobby system is way better than this. And then based off of what other people were saying, Guilty Gear Xrd, the lobby system was way better than this too. So this little 2D style going up sword fighting? What? Why am I in a casino swinging my sword trying to fight people? Why can't I just invite or set up a searching for opponent type of thing? Why do I have to walk up to somebody and sword fight? And it lags. Like somebody could be literally standing there on your screen, but they probably already moved 5 minutes ago. Why is it lagging that bad? And also it caused a lot of server issues, especially day one of the online portion of the beta. Me and my friends literally couldn't play that entire night. We had to wait till the next beta session to get into it, and we actually started to get some matches, but we were still experiencing some issues. And I just feel as if they just need to take this lobby system back to the drawing board. This was not it. If anything, implement an older lobby system like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy versus, just implement a simple system like that. Or in my opinion, they should go like a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter style and just have a way that we can just set up lobbies and just invite our friends. Why can we not have an invite button ArcSys? It just don't make sense. The next thing we want to talk about is the UI. I personally don't have anything, I don't think anything's wrong with the UI. I think the main reason people have issues with the UI because it doesn't seem Guilty Gear-ish. Now, I haven't played any older Guilty Gears, but I have been doing my research, and based off how the light bars, just things were set up in the older games, it looked very hardcore rockish. It was like a lot of metal and a lot of detail to how they put for the UI, and it's just this game that seemed to simplify it. And I believe this was one of the main pushes they was doing to grasp a bigger audience, but like a niche audience, people who aren't used to playing Guilty Gear. They wanted to bring them in, and I feel as if they would have been better off keeping their style of like keeping it hardcore metal and making it different compared to what other fighting games do. A lot of fighting games already simplify how their game UI looks, and you looking different and more outstanding, to me, that would draw in more people. It just made more sense. But design wise for UI, how it looks fine to me. They could make it more metalish and it would still look cool to me. But the only issues I do have is that your character icons move. That's not a huge issue once you get used to it, but I feel as if that it should just remain stagnant on the screen. It shouldn't move, especially since we have things tied to our character icons such as the burst and the wrist gauge. those things, if you want to make the portraits move, they shouldn't be a part of the portrait. It should be just something separate, maybe somewhere by the meter system at the bottom. But if you want to have those two a part of each other, they should be stagnant on the screen, shouldn't move, and it just should be somewhere in the corner, just displayed, just like how you do in just like how they do in their other fighting games. Gameplay wise, I'm going to be talking about gameplay from a beginner experience. I am not familiar with Guilty Gear. This is technically my first Guilty Gear game ever. I have played some of the older ones just from like friends and cousins, but specifically owning and trying to get good at it, this is my first time ever playing Guilty Gear. Now, from my experience, Guilty Gear really isn't that hard to pick up. I started off with Kai. Kai is probably one of the easiest characters that you could pick up. Soul is probably the easiest out of the game, and I feel as if Kai was a very beginner starter character for me. If you are new to Guilty Gear, I feel as if that you should start with Soul or Kai, just because they are fundamental characters that basically show you everything that the game does offer, and they allow you to like basically balance out and still have a great time using these characters. But throughout the entirety of the beta, I only played Kai, and that's only because I only played one day of the beta. I was gonna play that Sunday, but I overslept, and by the time I woke up, the beta had literally just ended. So I only have footage of playing with Kai. Sorry about that. But yeah, picking up the game is very easy. If you guys are coming from Dragon Ball FighterZ and that's one of your first fighting games you ever played, just to let you know, this game does not have auto combos. You can't just spam a button to get combos to Link. You actually have to learn some sort of combo algorithm. Now, I do want to make a separate video basically going a little bit more detail about that, but yeah, if you Dragon Ball FighterZ is your first fighting game, or like BB Tag, or games that have auto combo structure, then this game is actually not as easy, which based off their goal for this game, they want it to be as casual friendly as possible, and the fact that they'll have auto combos, or like how that you can't link like your lights into mediums or into heavies or into kicks, it's kind of weird that they have it structured like this, but they want it to be casual friendly. That just really didn't make sense. But yeah, from a character standpoint, they do let you know how easy each character is. They are separated to different categories. I believe it was balance, speed, power, and tricky. I believe those were the 4 different categories that you could pick, and based off of each character in those categories, they do have a star system. I believe it was a 4 or 5 star system, and the more stars they have, the easier the character is, and the less stars they have, the harder the character is. I believe the hardest characters in the game were Axel and Chip, and I wish I did have time to play those characters because they do look really cool, and I do really want to try those out. But based off of how my friends played, they played May and Chip, and my friend was actually pretty decent with Chip, and my friend was having a little trouble with May just because she has some charge mechanics. But I believe just putting in enough little time in the training room, you will actually get pretty good with these characters. But if you are the type of person that just likes to pick up the game and just pick a character and just spam some buttons, it's going to be hard doing that with Guilty Gear, but the easiest characters to do that with is Soul and Kai. Next I want to talk about is damage. Damage is retardedly too high. I don't know why the damage is this high in this game, but they need to cut that down. ArcSys, cut it down. I understand. No, I don't understand. I don't understand why that Soul has a command grab, and if you basically get grabbed 3 times, you're dead, especially Chip, because how this game is set up, characters based on the type of character that they are, they do have different types of health bar, or like the amount of health that they have, and Chip has the lowest health in the game just because he's fast and he has a lot of mix-up opportunity. But the thing is that how the game is structured, even though Chip is fast and has a lot of mix-up opportunity, the damage that he puts out compared to other characters in the game, and how easily he can be punished once learned, I feel as if that him having that low health, and then these characters, and then the amount of damage that you put out in this game, it just really doesn't matter that he is a speed and mix up character, just basically because once you touch Chip, he's dead. That man is dead because of how much damage you put out in this game. Even based against regular characters, I believe Soul, if he command grabs you 3 times, you're dead, and I feel as if that shouldn't be a thing. I believe his command grab right now does about 40 to 30%. I think that damage all around the board should be dropped down by 10%. And another character that does crazy damage is Potemkin. Now Potemkin does get zoned out pretty easily, and once you kind of get him in the corner, it's really hard for him to do anything. But the fact that this man can 2-touch you, you're dead. I feel as if that's a little crazy. Maybe 3 or 4 touch from Potemkin is pretty balanced in my opinion. and 4-5 touch, 4 soul, that would be a lot better. But damage output needs to be brought down, just because also I think games go by a little too fast, and it's either you bring the health bars up for characters, lower the damage in the game, or add an extra round in the game. Those are the options that I think they should go for if they want to resolve. But everything just does too much damage, especially when you get counter hits and command grabs. Those do crazy buku damage, and you get crazy combos. Like, there's a touch of death. In my opinion, there shouldn't be touch of deaths in a 1v1 fighting game. It just doesn't make sense to me. It shouldn't be added in, but that's what we got. So yeah, damage need to be reduced. Gameplay wise, the game is pretty easy in my opinion to pick up once if you start off with a beginner character. But if you are looking to play a character that looks cool in your opinion, and it might be Faust, it might be Chip, might be Axel, I'm gonna let you know this isn't Dragon Ball FighterZ. You can't just spam buttons and be good with them. You actually have to put in the time to understand and learn how these characters work. Lobby system is pretty bad. UI is decent to me. I don't have a big problem with it, but I understand that Guilty Gear fans want it to look more Guilty Gear-ish, so that could be a change that they could do. And the game overall looks great. Now, I know another issue people had was that the combo counter, once again to the double digit, it does get really big. But in my opinion, I don't know if it's just me, I kind of ignore the background when all these things happen. Like, like these huge counter screen, it really doesn't bother me. And also the huge combo numbers in the back, it doesn't really bother me. But if it does bother people, making these numbers smaller or these counters smaller, I wouldn't have a problem with it either. But that is my opinion of Guilty Gear, or like all my input on how the Guilty Gear beta went for me. Main thing they need to do, they need to polish up the lobby system, completely change that, reduce the damage to the game, and those are the main issues I have with the game. If they want to make this beginner friendly, they need to change the combo routes, but I will do a separate video about that. But I hope you guys do enjoy this video, or did enjoy this video. If you guys did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.